Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the news that Bukayo Saka is officially out injured for several weeks. It is a hamstring injury. Mikel Arteta has reported that his hamstring injury is quite bad and he will be out for an extended period. Now, with Bukayo Saka being out, we also have heard that Raheem Sterling is going to be out also. So that's a little bit of a blow as he was supposed to be one of the players that should be cover for Bukayo Saka. What we're going to be talking about in today's video is how Arsenal can do in the title race without Bukayo Saka, what solutions Mikel Arteta can find, and just to put some of these agendas to bed. So first things first, let's talk about Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka on his 240th or 250th appearance getting injured versus Crystal Palace is a big blow in the sense that he's one of our key attacking players. He's one of the best players in the league, score at getting assists, creating chances, and that right hand side will be needed to be reshuffled just to find some solutions in the meanwhile. Now, the immediate solution we found in the Crystal Palace game was Martinelli. Martinelli came in and Martinelli has done a decent job getting a goal and an assist in that game where we won 5-1, if I'm not mistaken, versus Crystal Palace. And Martinelli might be my number one solution at this moment in time for that right wing position. And we're going to have to most likely shift in either Ethan, Trossard, or Raheem Sterling or Jesus in and out of that position to find the exact best front three going forward from now until the rest of the season. As for the next thing, Arsenal needed a winger or a forward player before Bukayo Saka's injury, and now that Bukayo Saka is injured and Raheem Sterling's injured, we need one even more. I would go out there and I would try to go get a Lookman. I would try to go get somebody like Lookman, somebody like Nico Williams, if they're available in the upcoming January window. That will improve the team, and that is two players that we have been looking at as long-term transfer targets for Arsenal Football Club. So I would go and do that. If we can't go and get those two guys, then I would not stop there, and I would maybe even go to the extent of trying to find a stopgap to come into this team that can improve us in the short to immediate term. We do need solutions, and I don't think Mikel Arteta has enough internal solutions to get our attack firing to the level that we need it to be to try to win the league or the Champions League. Okay, so getting back to where we left off, we spoke about internal solutions potentially, external solutions potentially. We also need to find tactics that can get the best out of the players that we currently have to our disposal. If Martinelli is going to be shifting in there, it's going to be different to how Bukayo Saka played, as Martinelli can't drift in and shoot with his non-dominant foot. He's going to more likely be somebody going to the byline, crossing it in. And also, if we were to change it up with the Ethan, or if we were to play somebody else like Jesus, still also not very similar to Bukayo Saka. So we're going to have to find slightly different ways to play in that area of the pitch. Also, we're not giving up on this title race. I know it's going to be very difficult to win it without Bukayo Saka, but we are not giving up on this title race. We still have to go out there, try to win the League Cup, try to win the FA Cup, try to get as far as we can in the Champions League. And just because Bukayo Saka is injured does not mean we now throw in the towel. And the next thing is people need to relax with Mikel Arteta. People are making this about Arteta. Instead of being like it's an unfortunate event that Bukayo Saka has gotten injured, people are now saying it's on Arteta. Arteta's the reason why he got injured. Arteta plays him too much minutes. But the same people are the same people saying that if Arteta plays a weakened team in the cup competitions, that he's not taking the cup serious and that he needs to take them serious. He needs to play the Sakas, the Salibas, the Odegaards. And that's where I stand. I think Arteta needs to play these guys, and if they're good enough, they will continue to play throughout all these times. I think Bukayo Saka has been playing 250 appearances, not because Bukayo Saka was not needed in those games. No, because he's a good player, and good players continuously play games, and they don't miss too many matches. You see, look at the greats that have played in this game. They play even when their team might not necessarily need them. What they do is they go out there, they bury the game, and they sit on the bench for the remainder of the game after the 60th or 50-minute mark. So I think people need to relax. Stop making this about Arteta. You have an agenda against Arteta, hence why you want to make this about Arteta, saying that, oh, he is the reason why Saka got injured. Bukayo Saka was used like a bar of soap. No. All great players play a lot of minutes. What Arsenal needs to do is now have a better squad depth, and that's where you can criticize the team and the management and the construction of the squad for the lack of squad depth. But when we have tried to rotate, it hasn't worked out too much, hasn't worked out too well. And maybe maybe this is an opportunity to now get away from Bukayo Saka a little bit and see what we have in this team offensively. Maybe some players can step up. Jesus stepped up the last couple games. Martinelli stepped up in the previous game. Havertz is going to have to step up again. We're going to need to see Trossard playing better. Maybe this can spur on some of these players to start having better performances, as they don't have the safety blanket of passing it to Bukayo Saka every single time we need something to go down. You know what I mean? And another thing is, we know the transfer window is going to have to be a solution, and people are going to talk about the Cronkies. The Cronkies, I think they are willing to spend the money. I don't think the Cronkies are holding back Arsenal from spending money. I think it's the people in charge are not looking to spend money unless it's the right profile and the right name and the right thing. I think the Cronkies, Josh Kroenke and Stan Kroenke, are not going to be looking at this team and saying, oh, we can't spend no more money until we sell. I think it's a situation where they're going to look at the team and they're going to say, hey, if you want something and you think it's worth it, go get it. And that just gives, and where I get that information from is, we had the money for Nico Williams, we had the money for Caicedo, we had the money for Mikel Arteta. When we see something that we like and we're interested in, that we're willing to go, we go and make the bids. But those bids might not get accepted because the club does not want to pay, does not want to sell the player for that much money. And this is where I can criticize the structure of the club. If we want somebody and we see that they're going to bring value to this team, go and get them. This is a January window. It's going to be difficult to get transfers done. We're going to have to try to do something in the short term to the immediate term. And finally, there's no writing off the season. People need to relax with the writing off the season stuff. Yes, Bukayo Saka is injured. Yes, it is a tough end to the season. It's going to be a tough end to the season for us. But if we can get through these next 6 to 8 weeks without Bukayo Saka, we will come out of this a much better team, where we will now be able to trust some of our squad players a little bit more. We might be able to have made a signing to further strengthen this team. We just need to weather the storm. And if Liverpool run away with the league, what can we do at that point? If we drop more points, what can we do at that point? But at this moment in time, we are not licking our wounds. We are not getting down about ourselves. We need to continue to push as a team. This manager, Mikel Arteta, needs to find a solution in the short term with what he has. And if he can go into the window, go into the window. But as a squad, as a fan base, we cannot give up on this team. We cannot have a little bit of adversity and just quit on this team. I know it's an uphill battle. I know it's going to be something that's not realistically as easy as it was before. But if it's the year from hell for Man City and Arsenal, so be it. But right now, we are not going to let that. We're not going to let that get into the dressing room. We're not going to let that get into the fan base. All this stuff that I'm seeing about people saying, I quit, I give up, see you next season. You can have you have your right to your opinion, but I think that's loser mentality. I think that's quitter mentality. We should not be quitting on this season. We should not be quitting on this team. We should continue to push and see how far we can get from now to the end of the year. But yeah, I'll leave you guys here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Love.